first review. I was supposed to have a party popper, but I don't, so... Fireworks. Colour of Magic is the first official book in the Discworld series. It's about Rincewind, an unlucky and unofficial wizard who accidentally becomes guide to the foolishly rich and optimistically stupid Two-Flower, the Disc's first tourist. The Disc is a world where the gods literally play games with the lives of men. They don't always play fair, and they take everything personally. Basically, it's a road trip book. Alright, it's not that simple, but I'll get to that later. I'll admit I didn't really want to read this book, so it's kind of lucky it was the first one. It's important to remember that The Colour of Magic is basically a really detailed, really long prologue to the next book, The Light Fantastic. In fact, it's essentially an introduction for the Discworld series as a whole. It's where you're first introduced to some of the cultures and Terry Pratchett's writing. For example, Terry Pratchett has this great habit of anchoring the unfamiliar in the familiar. There's a scene where Two-Flower introduces a barman to the idea of insurance, where he takes a very practical view to the idea of accepting money for his damaged property by ensuring that his property gets damaged. It's a great trend that continues throughout the series and makes for some really good gags. Onto our characters. Rincewind is a protagonist and pretty much your basic anti-hero, although he never quite makes it to hero status, much to his relief. He's unambitious and selfish and cowardly, and not so much immoral as he is amoral where it comes to matters of his self-preservation. He's really, really good at not dying. He's technically not really a wizard because he never graduated, but he does know one spell. One of the 8 spells that jumped into his head accidentally. He's not quite sure what it does, but he's pretty sure it's the reason that none of the other spells want to stay in his head. Two-Flower is Rincewind's foil in a way. He's optimistic and not really afraid of anything because he's a goddamn tourist and they never react to anything appropriately. He wears garishly coloured shirts, carries around his camera, constantly tries to talk people in his own language but slightly louder, and is followed by his luggage everywhere. No, seriously, his luggage follows him on little legs. It's probably the best character in the whole book. Anti-heroes are good fun, but Rincewind doesn't actually do anything, which, to be fair, is his goal in life, not to do anything, especially die. In fact, him or Two-Flower don't really do much throughout the book except travel from culture to culture, location to location, and not die. I would be amenable to the fact that Rincewind's not caring attitude makes him such a great character, and it really suits Terry Pratchett's style of writing. Him and Two-Flower play off each other really well and have some great moments. There is a broad cast of supporting characters, but we don't really spend enough time with any of them to garner much of a rapport. At one point there were these dragon lords and this badass princess dragon lady, and I was hoping we'd spend a lot more time with her, but then it moved on pretty quickly. As soon as one culture starts to feel comfortable, Rincewind almost dies for the millionth time and they move on. That's why I think of it as a road trip book. They just sort of location jump without much purpose until the next book, I assume. Alright, more positive things. Discworld is a brilliant world and anything but boring. It's established early on that it is a magical world, and then some great gags around its unfamiliar workings. For instance, there's a moment where Rincewind wishes that things were simpler than magic, for example harnessing the lightning, but everyone tells him that's stupid because everyone knows lightning is held by thunder gods when they're fighting, and it's true, and that's just brilliant in the way that it works. Discworld has some great aspects about it, and Colour of Magic crams a lot of that in. Basically, Colour of Magic felt like Discworld folklore to me, and that isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, there are dragons in it. Freaking dragons. This is the first time you're introduced to the world as a whole, and a few of the people that live in it. Characters like Death and the Patrician are briefly mentioned, only to be revisited and expanded upon throughout 39 other books, and it's great to see where they first began. As a Discworld book, I would give it a 2 out of 5. Pratchett does a great job of world building, but I much prefer his character-driven work and his storytelling skills. The particular story of Rincewind and Two-Flower continues in the second book, Light Fantastic, which I hopefully will have for you soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Just a little housekeeping. Obviously, this is the first review. I don't really know what they can be yet, what the format and that kind of stuff will be. So if you are commenting, if you have any suggestions about the format, stuff that I could do more of, less of, whatever, let me know. I'm gonna build as I go, I guess. But thank you very much. There are like 7 of you subscribed before I even made the first video, so that's cool. You 7 are awesome. And so is everyone else watching this, I guess. But I'll see you guys later. Bye.